All right, I just posted up in a random mall parking lot so I can do a little walk around video like the typical YouTuber bitch, but you know, let's go ahead and do it. Let's start from the inside in here and then kind of work our way out. Obviously, I'm putting the interior back together. It was full interior, full, like perfectly working car, clean car, but I decided to go crazy with it. Obviously, there's some wires that need to be cleaned up, but this is the wiring to my micro squirt, which is my standalone ECU. This thing was like, I think $350, and then it was like $60 for the premium tune features, which is like incredibly helpful and makes things a lot easier, a lot smoother when you're trying to like dial things in. Over here, I'm obviously missing the third gauge, which I'm going to use for my fuel level, and that'll have to be ordered. So that's just more money that's got to be spent, but you know, it's all good. Basically just kind of took these out, kind of refinished them, and then went ahead and put in my wideband first. Whoa, what the camera's doing. Put in my wideband, and then I put in my boost gauge. And then obviously I just bought like a $200 laptop from Walmart, and that's what I'm using to kind of control things, at least for now. Just sold the 350Z gauge cluster because I didn't like the way it looked, and I really wasn't trying to make it all work when I could just get, you know, like a drag pack or something, which is coming. So I don't even know how fast I'm going, which is one thing, but that has GPS capabilities. And when you buy premium features on the micro squirt, you also unlock GPS syncing to like a race pack or something. My buddy hooked me up with some harnesses just to kind of get me by. And this is actually a passenger seat out of my 2013 Civic. I had to make it work. I really didn't want to, but you know, I sold my seats to make this happen. So you know, everything that you see that's missing is stuff that I've sold. And also, I think my phone's messed up, so yeah. All right, so down in here, we are gonna make our way forward. You can see, we got the ISR, oh my God, you're not gonna see it, but it's the ISR LS swap drive shaft. And that goes all the way to, I'm using a CDO1 right now. I'm just gonna blow that sucker up and then go to a CDO9 eventually. Strip down the engine bay, and I painted it black, and yeah, it took about a week to do. Cleaning kind of takes a long time when you do it right. And then I just got some cheap coilovers to kind of get me by until I get my drag coils, because yeah, the air suspension was not working out. Yes, this car was on bags before, which I guess it is worth kind of showing right now, but damn it. You know, these V-Strongs are really a pain in the ass, especially when that latch thing breaks. But yeah, she was bagged, but she's not anymore. It was on the True Heart kit, and I really like the wide quality. I really like the ride quality, but it just didn't work out for me. And just because when you let things sit for 10 months, things tend to break, and a bag popped, and then I hit a pothole and blew a strut. So you know, that's what it is. Okay, so yeah, there's a lot going on in the engine bay, but this is a 5.3, and starting from the inside of the engine, I bought a block that was honed and hot tanked, just a bare block, for like $300, and then I went ahead and spent about, I think, $1,500 in the machine shop for assembly and machine work. It's got a stage 3, it's the grind is a stage 3 sloppy cam, which has got a 595 lift, 296 duration, and 112 lobe separation angle. I did that, and then I gapped the rings to 30 thousandths. I have no idea what that was. Gapped the rings to 30 thousandths, and then I also got flat top pistons out of a 4.8. All this is brand new, so the engine's probably got maybe 100 miles on it right now, something like that. Haven't been driving it too much, but you know, just kind of driving around town for a few minutes and coming back, mainly because I don't have any idea how much gas I'm using, so I can't really gauge that. I just kind of dump in money every time I drive the car, you know, so I'm just seeing the gas station like every day. It's kind of annoying, but you know, it's like a $100 fix for me to wire things up, and I'm going to use the stock fuel level gauge. The head is milled, or the heads are milled, and you know, face and everything. Got a fresh valve job, everything's good. Gen 4 rods and crank. I got some Melling LS1 style push rods, which they're not like hardened push rods or anything, but they're just fine. It gets the job done. But then going from that, I used 2 passenger side valve covers and ran the catch can to that. That did not cost very much. Getting a valve cover is pretty cheap at a junkyard. I'm using truck coils, and then I got some aftermarket plug wires. And then I'm running some NGK-ARs. I'm not sure which ones, but I got some that were a little bit colder than the ones I originally had because I'm running boost, so kind of need to do that. And then I got some Bosch, I think they're 35-pound injectors. Yeah, they weren't too much, but they're kind of used in a lot of Ford applications, but obviously they're EV1 plugs, so they'll work in here. And then going down from that to the accessory drive, which is all Camaro stuff except for the ICT billet, low mount, Corvette alternator bracket, which actually, if you see down here, I had to cut on the alternator casing right here in order to get this to fit. Like, I'd take one of these bolts out and then kind of cut that down so it fit over the block, and I had to drill and tap a hole into the block because this is not a Corvette block. There's just a few tiny things that are different, obviously. Street raised manual belt tensioner. Then I got obviously a Camaro water pump, thermostat, which I'm running an LS7 thermostat, which is 160 degrees. This car stays incredibly cool. I'm usually running around like 170. It doesn't get more than, like, I haven't seen more than 174, but it's usually when she's driving around, it's like 160, 163, somewhere around there, because of obviously there's no hood. The thermostat's, you know, very well thought out, and then there's heat wrap on the whole exhaust, which I made myself with a good old Harbor Freight arc welder. Yeah, obviously if it was under the heat wrap, you would probably tell that I used a Harbor Freight arc welder, but does not matter, it works. She boosts just fine, she pulls hard, does not matter to me. It's what I had to work with. So yeah, this is kind of baller on a budget kind of thing. Then I got some Chinese choo-choo boys, 120 bucks on eBay. Gets these 6357s, I believe. And then I just got some little heat blankets, and then I reused the exhaust from my Z that I already had on here. It was a Borla True Dual, so I just kind of used that for my down pipes, or I guess my up pipes in this case. And this is a Volkswagen 18T O2 sensor, so it's like a wideband, obviously, for boost. It was the smartest way for me to go. And then the whole wiring harness I built from scratch because I ordered a Chinese one for like 250 bucks. So I had like another $40–50 to spend on getting plugs because there were some pigtails on the harness that were not even, they weren't even there. Like, I was literally missing pigtails. All the wires were wrong, colors were wrong, so I completely stripped the harness down and basically just used it for parts and went on the forums and reconstructed a harness with the pinouts and a multimeter, and broke my back on the living room floor for about 2 weeks. So that was fun. Let's see what else is in here. Man, it's really, I mean, it's pretty simple, but it's not that bad, honestly. I got the old G Plus oil cooler, all these steel braided lines. Everything on here is AN fittings except for on the oil pan, which, as you can tell, there's like a tiny leak that I need to get some good old JB weld around this bung here, and it'll be all good to go. But yeah, there's some things that need to be cleaned up underneath, but it's not a big deal because I've been driving the piss out of it, and she's given me basically zero issues so far. You can see them coils up in there, eBay special. Fuck with me, I don't care. If you don't like it, you can go ahead and buy me some BCs and send them my way. Yeah, that's what I had. That's what I could afford. So then I got the ISR swap oil pan with the Canton Racing oil pan, you know, the typical stuff that you can see from all the LS swap guys. Then I got the ISR trans adapter kit, which comes with the Clutch Masters adapter flywheel, running a stage 4 XTD clutch. It feels great, drives great, doesn't slip, doesn't do anything bad. And then I got the shifter relocation bracket, so I have my Z in the stock, or my shifter in the stock Z location. Went and got a CX Racing Y pipe, and then I welded bungs on here to get the IAT and then the blow off, this is basically like a tile replica, but I don't really care. And then the big thing, my favorite, is this intake manifold, and this was like $550 online. I bought it on eBay. I don't really care. And it came with the throttle body and the sensors, which I replaced with good ones because I don't trust the Chinese sensors. But either way, a piece of metal is a piece of metal. It fits on here, it works good. I got let's see, Moly LS3 intake manifold gaskets, and I used a little bit of super glue to kind of hold them in while I set them in. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have those issues. Nice. I did not know my camera just stopped on me because I ran out of freaking space. But let's go under here. This is probably the last thing I gotta point out, honestly, on this swap. And oh yeah, the fuel pump after this, but it's kind of a related thing. So as you can see, I ran some braided lines underneath, and then right over here, you see there is, oh God, there we go, C5 Corvette fuel filter / fuel pressure regulator, and that has all AN lines going to it and out of it. Like I said, everything on this car, AN lines, and they're really nice. And actually some of these are push lock, but it's kind of all the same thing. And the last thing down here is going to be the fuel pump. So the pump itself, which literally slides right into the fuel pump assembly of this car, is the 1995 Honda Civic fuel pump. Yeah, Civic fuel pump. It works. I don't know how to explain it, but it works. And it just plugged right in, dropped right in, and it works. But I modified this fuel pump assembly. I can't really show it. I think I've uploaded something about it in the past, but I basically plastic welded a bunch of holes and stuff, you know, all the extra crap on the fuel pump assembly that was OEM, and then drilled a hole at the top of this for the return, ran a bung into there, and so this obviously goes up to the bung, and this is my return line, and then this literally clips right into the stock fuel line, the feed line. This little clip right here came on there, like it that's just how it came. And this is obviously an AN adapter fitting or whatever. It just clicks right on. It's freaking awesome. It worked out really well. Saved me a bunch of time and money, and I also get to utilize the OEM stuff. And basically, I just plastic welded everything else that I didn't need, deleted the fuel pressure regulator that was like built into the fuel pump assembly, because it's all one thing, of course. So it just bypassed all of it altogether, deleted it, plastic welded everything else shut. So basically it's just a suction and it feeds it right out of there, and nothing else that was OEM works on it. And on the other side behind this one is the fuel level sensor. The only problem that I'm really having with the fuel is that it only picks up from this side of the tank. So there's a little hump and then it goes to the other side. So sometimes fuel sloshes over and it acts weird. Sometimes it's just really annoying. But when I run E85 here in a few weeks, I will be not having this issue. It'll still be the similar setup, but there'll be dual pumps, and so they'll be picking up from both sides, feeding into, you know, one fuel line going to the rails, and that'll be it right there. Yep, basically just use the power, or yeah, the power cable that came off of here, and this goes into there, and that works. And it's awesome. It uses factory grounds, so I didn't have to make a ground for it or anything. All good to go. Pretty freaking easy. I tried to save a lot of time, money, and effort in this build, but I also didn't want to, you know, cheap out. I wanted to do things, you know, right for the most part, but obviously save money where I can until I have money to upgrade things in the future. And that's kind of what I've been doing, is just slowly upgrading things. But anyways, that is the build. I'm gonna throw some clips in, and yeah. The next thing that is happening to this car is going to be the interior. I'm going to get some seats, some red carpet in here, kind of update some things and make it really nice in here. Obviously harnesses and a harness part that actually fits. We just kind of bolted this in here anyway we can get it, but it was better than not being able to buckle up, since this is a passenger seat. And this ugly little wheel is going to go. As much as I have enjoyed it, feels nice, just doesn't look very good. It's gonna get all the bells and whistles, gonna make the outside look good again, gonna get some better fenders, get my bumper back on, and possibly fab up some crazy hood situation. So I can actually have a hood on here, but it won't be very pretty. But anyways, yeah, this is the car, and hopefully you guys will subscribe and tag along for the ride.